Welcome, foolish mortals, back to the channel. We do not have our regular Disney Plus project video today because things got a little out of whack with scheduling and with Anna not feeling well, and so we did not get around to making that video for you. So instead, you get me another video of me rambling about just random things that are on my mind, generally Disney related, and this one is. Anyway, so I hope that I will be able to come across clearly because I didn't take any notes or anything like that. It's just kind of something that literally about 45 minutes ago I decided that was something I wanted to talk about. Before I start the video, I want to make sure that if you are not subscribed to the channel, you hit that subscribe button down below, and also make sure you leave us a like and a comment, let us know how we're doing and anything else. So I really just wanted to do a short video in place of the Disney Plus project to kind of talk about something pertaining to our trip to Disney World in October of 2021. And that really, it has to do with just essentially what I'm actually the most excited for, and it has nothing to do with the rides that I'm excited for or which parks I'm excited to go see, and things like which restaurants I'm excited to go to, and things like that. It has nothing to do with any of that. It actually all has to do with Aodhan. So we mentioned a little bit ago, I believe, we mentioned in one of our previous videos that Anna and I are expecting another baby again, who will be due in March. It is a boy, and so we will have two boys, two sons. And so at the time of this next trip, he will be, if he's born on his due date like Aodhan was, which seems less and less likely by the day, he's probably going to be early, but if he's born on the day, which is March 7th, then he will be roughly 7 months old, a little more than 7 months old when we go on our next trip. And so he'll have a similar experience to what Aodhan did when Aodhan was 6 months old. But on our last trip in September of 2019, I had kind of started to notice Aodhan was almost a year old. He turned a year old a week after we got back, and I had started to notice that because he was getting a little older and he was paying more attention to things around him, he was starting to see a lot more of the things that we were wanting him to see. He was seeing all of the bright colors in the rides, like in Frozen Ever After. He was constantly looking around because there's bright colors, there's different characters that he recognized because he liked watching Frozen. And it was just a really fun thing to see. And that's one of the things we were excited about for the trip that was planned for December, next month, was we were excited to see him react to some of these different things. But next year in October, I'm actually even more excited for that, like, quite honestly, because Aodhan will be 3 years old. He's already paying attention to everything. He absorbs everything. He is incredibly articulate, and he knows what he likes, and he absolutely loves what he likes. And so it's just a lot of fun to see. And by that point, another year will have passed from now, roughly. And, he'll be 3 years old, and I'm just so excited to see him react to those things as a 3-year-old, where he's more conscious of things. He's starting to gain more of a, I can't even think of the word for it. His mind is starting to develop more, and he's getting more of an analytical mind. Starting to get there. I know that doesn't kick in quite at 3 years old, but it kind of starts to. And so I'm just really excited to see it, and I'm really excited to have him meet the characters, especially the ones that he recognizes, because he was kind of excited to see Anna and Elsa on our last trip, but it was still kind of because they were people. It was live actors in those costumes. It wasn't the costume characters. It wasn't Mickey and Minnie, because he loved meeting Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Daisy, Scrooge, Launchpad. Even though he didn't know who Launchpad was, he hadn't seen DuckTales up to that point, so he had no idea who that was. He was excited to see him. But the face characters, he wasn't as excited to see. But now he recognizes characters based not only on what they look like, but based on what they wear. He recognizes Anna and Elsa's dresses, and he recognizes everything they do with Olaf. Like, he looks at a snowman and thinks it's Olaf, but he recognizes the outfits that they're in. He recognizes Moana's outfit. Actually, he really loves Moana too, and Rapunzel. And so he recognizes what they're wearing. It's very noticeable to him, you know. And I'm more excited to actually be able to go and meet Anna and Elsa with him, because one, he absolutely loves them. They are his absolute favorite, and he cannot get enough of them. And two, because he will recognize them based even just solely on the dresses that they're wearing. He'll recognize them, and most likely he'll probably run up to them. And like, I'm so excited to see that. I'm so excited to see that. And the other thing, and I know Anna's excited about this as well, is that he's about 32 inches tall, I believe, 31. I think it's 32. And so by the time that we hit our next trip, he'll probably have grown at least a couple more inches, and he'll be able to ride some of the roller coasters. And we're also really excited for him to do that, because one thing that we noticed a couple weeks ago, when we went to get Aodhan out of the car and he had his tablet that he was watching YouTube Kids videos on, he had somehow managed to start playing a POV ride-through of Slinky Dog Dash in Toy Story Land in Disney World. And it was he sat there and watched the whole thing. He just sat there and watched the whole thing, because he loves Toy Story as well. That's his other favorite. And he sat there and watched as Slinky Dog Coaster rolled, and the whole way through he was just watching, and then he would just at random times go, "A Slinky Dog," or he'd point out, when he would see Rex, he'd go, "A Rex," and he would point out Woody, and he would point out Jessie and Buzz, but he just would sit there and watch, you know. And so I'm really excited to be able to ride roller coasters with him and get him to try those. Also, partially because I don't want him to end up with the same irrational fear of roller coasters that I have. I don't want him to do that. But hopefully, when we go next year, hopefully he will not react the way that I did. I had never been on a roller coaster at that age, so it'll be a lot earlier exposure than I got. That's probably part of it. But one of the last things that I'm really excited for is for him to see the parades, because that's the other thing. After we noticed that he was watching the Slinky Dog Dash and stuff, we kind of started playing some ride-throughs of some POVs of some other rides. Haunted Mansion, what are some of the other ones that we played? We did Haunted Mansion, we did Big Thunder Mountain, which of course he didn't recognize, Pirates of the Caribbean, which he would have recognized, and Small World, which he did recognize a little bit. And so we played some ride-throughs for him. But once we got through the ride-throughs, all of a sudden we noticed, actually, when we were at Anna's parents' house one day, that one of the videos that came on YouTube that just kind of randomly started playing, because he had wanted to watch something about the rides, is he ended up watching one of the parades. I don't remember which parade it was, but he watched the entire 20 minutes of the parade, just sat there and watched, and just got super excited with every character that would show up. He got super excited when Buzz came up. He got super excited when Mickey and Minnie came up. Super excited when Donald and Daisy came up, and when Goofy walked by and Pluto. He got so excited. And again, just sat there and watched the whole thing. And he doesn't do that a whole lot. He'll watch something for a while, and then he'll go off, and he'll come back and watch it for a while, and then he'll go off. But he sat there through the whole parade. And then we played another parade right after that, and again, he sat through that whole parade too. And the next one, we actually played 3 in a row. So for darn near an hour, he just sat there and watched parades from Disney World and Disneyland. And so I'm really excited to be able to take him to some of those parades. I'm really excited to see what he'll do. And I also really want to play, Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom with him, to see kind of what he thinks of that. Because some of the cards that I have Mickey and different characters that he recognizes on them. So I'm also kind of excited for that too. But Yeah, those are some of the things that I'm just really excited about this next trip. Also, the fact that we're going to have another boy, and so we'll get to experience what it's like to take a toddler and an infant at the same time to Disney World. And so we'll have, hopefully after our next Disney trip, we'll have put up a new video about kind of some tips and tricks if you're taking a toddler and an infant to Disney World. That'll probably be something that we do. But yeah, so like I said, just kind of wanted to keep this as short as possible. Just kind of a random video since we weren't able to do our normal Disney Plus project video. So hopefully that will be up for you next week. We're going to try to record that soon. But anyways, that is it for me today. So thank you all for joining me this week, and I hope that we will see you all again next week. But until then, don't forget to thank the Phoenicians.